So, oh, well done, that. Okay, so we have 3 of us involved with the micro-credential. Today, we have Natalie and I. Gwyn is part of the team too, and together we run the workshops. We do the backup of emails to you, telling you what's happening when, backing up after each workshop, including this one, and staying in communication with you and able to answer questions that you have during the micro-credential year. So this is us, this is who we are, and I'm hoping that, as in previous years, what they've said to us is they have felt very well supported, and we would like that for you too. Okay, so what is this micro-credential? It is evidence of what you have done and what you have learned by doing. Now, you'll immediately notice one of the CLD principles in that first bullet point to do with learning by doing. This is not a qualification for if you are new to community-led development. It doesn't teach you how to do community-led development. It works with those of you who are in the process, who do this for your work and are looking for a way to have that recognised and to learn through what you have done already. It is a mini qualification showing that you have the competencies to do these things, to plan and facilitate community-led development processes, hui, meetings and workshops for a diverse range of groups, and then, and this is critical to the micro-credential, to critically reflect on your practice. So this micro-credential has tasks. That last bullet point, mini qualification bullet point, identifies actually everything that is in the tasks for assessment. So those things need to be present in your practice and have you write about them in your practice as part of assessment for this micro-credential. Please know that the micro-credential is not NZQA accredited. It's a question that comes up. We work together with the Open Polytech and with Otago Polytech for accreditation and to access their learning platform where you submit your work eventually. Okay, there will be opportunity for questions written into the chat in time. So if you have questions as we're moving through, just write them down yourself, or remember, if you wish, whatever works for you. And we're going to ask for them to go into the chat a bit later on. So any questions that you have. Okay, next one. These are words from 3 participants last year. They represent not-for-profit and also people who work for a local body. I'm going to let you read them, and then I'm going to just highlight some things in there. So just have a quick read through yourself. Okay, so in the initial quote by Ruth, what I'd really like to look at first is it helped me to adapt and improve my facilitation skills. The micro-credential is about your facilitation of CLD, community-led development, and reflect deeply on our processes and practices. So a significant part of the micro-credential is taking time to step back and critically reflect on your own practice through the lens of the principles of CLD. Now, Ruth also mentions her gratitude for the ongoing support of her team. That's within her workplace, and we'll come to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I do notice that in the profiles of some of you that I can see, there is a little team there. And it's really, really useful if you have a team at your workplace who understand what you're doing when you register for the micro-credential. It works very well to have more than one person in a workplace doing it at the same time, but with different case studies. In terms of what Cherie says, a standout for me is this program is reflective, focused on practice rather than outcomes. It is all about your practice of facilitation, and your reflection of that. It's not about what happened, because sometimes things don't go the way you expect them to, and that's fine. That's absolutely what happens. It's about how you did it, what you did, and your analysis of what you did. Cherie mentions that she gained validation for her role and what she does, and that comes through often for me in talking to people in the cohorts about feeling validated in their role. Confidence and valuable insight into CLD skills, and that is something we will talk about as the workshops roll on. The third one is sometimes about stepping outside comfort zone. Now, that is actually about talking to people about what you're doing in an open, critical, and constructive way. And for some people, that's quite challenging. Collaborating with diverse groups, and that's expected to be mentioned how you've done that in what you write up for your assessment, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. So things happen, they are challenging, and we learn from them. And in the last one, it's about being a better leader and facilitator for the community. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we're excited about the micro-credential. I think this might be my 4th year being involved in it. It's really inspiring to hear the work you do and what happens. These are the things we see happens for the people who register. The weaving of learning, reflection, and asking for feedback, and I'll talk a bit more about that shortly. The validation you receive and recognize, consolidating what you already know and are already doing. Looking for new areas for learning and development for you in your work, and bringing together learning, knowledge, and skills in a way that can be clearly shared with others in our community and in your community. That's what we're excited about. We'd like to know what excites you about the micro-credential, or interests you if you're just putting your toe in the water with us today. Okay, next one. Okay, we're just organising a breakout. Now, you might be with anyone at all from anywhere in New Zealand, and we're going to hear a bit about that after this. So this is a breakout for 3 people, so you'll get to know 3 people a little bit for 6 minutes. The people who register become a mutually supportive cohort over the time of the micro-credential. So very, very important to learn what each other can offer, what each other does, and why we're here today. Like, why are we spending time doing this and not something else right now? Okay, Natalie, are we, how are we? Are we good to go with our breakouts?
Press go now.
Awesome. So you've got roughly 2 minutes each, and just make sure everyone in your group gets to answer the question. But we've got just a fairly short info session for you today, so we're not going to feed back from the breakout rooms, but it gives you a feel of how we work for our workshops. In fact, the cohort that you register alongside become more important than us, because you have them in an ongoing way. If it's okay with people, we share contacts, and they are there as people doing the work that you do, similar work to you, who can ongoingly support you in your work. What we're going to do now is ask you to tell us just 3 things: your name, your employer or who you work in community development for or with, and 1 sentence, please, just 1, about why you've become interested in the micro-credential. So I'm going to, Natalie, if it's okay to start, and then we might put everybody back on the screen. And as we go through, we'll just pass to somebody by name because you'll see their names on the screen, and we'll just keep it rolling so that we're moving around all 20 of us here today. It might even be 21. So Natalie's going to start. She'll hand to me. I'll go next. Then I'm going to hand to somebody I can see on my screen. And it's just 3 things today, or we're going to use a lot of time on this. But I'd really like you to be part of this. So we'd like to hear from each of you. Your name, your employer or who you work with or for in community development, and some sentence about why you're here today spending time doing this with us. Okay, could we have everybody's photos back up, Natalie? Now, while she does that, I'd like to ask you one thing. We'd like to take a screenshot of everybody on the screen as part of what happens for Inspiring Communities. If you're not comfortable with that, could you please message Natalie in the chat so that we won't do that? We'd like to make sure you're comfortable, but that's would be a regular thing that we would do if you're okay with that. So just wait a moment or two to give you a chance to do that. Okay, and we'll make a start with who we have here today. Do you want to lead us off, Natalie? Is that okay?
Yep, no problems. Kia ora koutou, my name's Natalie. I work for Inspiring Communities. We're a virtual organisation, so we're all over the country, and I'm lucky enough to be in Tahuna, Queenstown at the moment, and I'm the Operations and Program Manager, so I support this program. I support Kerry and Gwyn, who do the delivery of this program, and support the cohort that come on board to do the micro-credential. Over to you, Kerry.
Okay, so I'm Kerry Jenner. I work 4 days a week as a counsellor in a rural school at the far north of Auckland, so in the Rodney area. I also work for AUT, helping with teacher trainees and evaluating their practice as they learn the craft of teaching. And I work in Inspiring Communities. I work solely with the micro-credential. So I live in Snells Beach, which is in North Auckland. So almost not Auckland, but we pay Auckland rates. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Dominic.
I'm Dominic. I'm contracted through Auckland Council as a climate activator in Mount Roskill, Auckland. And I am interested in this micro-credential as this is a very new role in the community, and I want to learn how I can support the community in this new role.
Cool. Good. So choose anyone you can see, Dominic.
I will choose Rosie.
Kia ora. Thank you. My name is Rosie. I work at Dream South D in Dunedin. So we're part of the community-led development program with Department of Internal Affairs and the lotteries funding. Colleagues of mine did the micro-credential last year, and we also did the Kitty introduction workshop, which I found really valuable. And also, and I think this came through in our group too, about how often we're doing this work quite organically. So sort of figuring out to be more precise and get the language around your how and how you go about doing the work that you do. And I think the reflection will be really valuable. Thank you. And I'm going to go with, we'll go with Di, sorry. You're in the library.
Good. Di, are you good to go? You just turn on your mic.
Sorry, did you say my name? Because I didn't actually hear who you called.
Sorry, yes, Di.
Okay. Hi, I'm Di, and I'm here in my capacity in some volunteer work. I'm involved with the Rites of Passage Foundation. We work with youth and families in wilderness-led, nature-based, intergenerational rites of passage. The main one being marking the movement from childhood to adulthood, but looking at a range of life, marking life stages. And I'm here to keep growing my capacity to reflect on practice and to connect with others mainly. Thank you. Sasha.
Hi, kia ora, everyone. My name's Sasha. I live on Great Barrier Island, and we've just recently started, literally, the community-led development over here. So I work for the iwi here, Ngāti Rehua, Ngāti Wai Kia Aotea. So we are just starting our journey, and I'd really like to get some really clear ideas on communication across ethnicities as well, just to make sure that people really understand what it's about. And yeah, so I'm really interested. I don't really know much about this, so it's the first time I've sort of seen it and I thought, oh, that's great to just start my own learning journey within this in a different way for myself personally. So hopefully it'll benefit others. So that's me. Mandy, I'm gonna pass it on.
Kia ora koutou, I'm Mandy, based in Waihopai in Invercargill, and I work for Te Raro One Aotearoa Foundation, which is the charitable arm of One New Zealand that used to be Vodafone. I work, it focuses on youth and the youth sector, and really interested in this CLD just to reflect on our own practice because we're working in this space. And after having that breakout, just excited to connect with others working in the space too and have that networking opportunity.
Yeah.
That's me. I will pass to Priyani.
Kia ora everyone, my name's Priyani De Silva Curry. I work for Becca in New Zealand, but I also work with a lot of non-government organisations, and I've been facilitating for quite some time, and I'm very keen to learn some new things and get some of the validation of what I've been doing for a very long time. So I'm very pleased to be here. Thanks so much, and I will pass to Gavin.
Kia ora everyone, Gavin Gunston from Connected Neighbourhoods Trust. We're based up here in Auckland Northwest, focused on community development in a local, like multiple local settings, so like Hobsonville, Whenuapai, wider areas, and also around emergency resilience. Do quite a bit in the facilitating that kind of space and community emergency response groups. Mainly around just wanting to reflect, take a pause moment. Been involved for about 20 odd years, so yeah, just wanting to actually see what I don't know and see what bad habits are there. But also it's a trend I see too, that people are needing to get more qualified and get their experience recognised. Certainly seeing that in Aussie at the moment, so I'm guessing we'll copy that in New Zealand soon enough. Good up. And hand over to Ben and Beanie, I think it was. Was Ben there still?
Kia ora, Ben.
Sorry,
yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, sorry, Ben had to go to another meeting, but I'm still here. Just had to move rooms. But yeah, I am Beanie. I work for Wellington City Council in Community Climate Action. And yeah, I'm really excited to take part in this micro-credential. Like other people said, it's great to have a community of people that are working in similar areas to learn from, and also just to formalise those skills as a professional development opportunity. I think that's awesome that you provide this. So Namahi, and I'm going to pass to Raven, who's also in our team.
Kia ora koutou, ko Raven Maida tōku ingoa. So yeah, I work with Ben and Beanie at Wellington City Council. Prior to being in that team, I was in our community development team for a couple of years, but always working in this space of community climate action. And I'm really interested in doing this micro-credential as an opportunity to, as everyone else has said, critically reflect on what we've been doing and learn together with others. And also one of my beloved colleagues who's no longer in our team did this credential and said that it was an amazing opportunity for just putting some more kind of backing behind what you're already doing. So keen for that. And I will pass to Joanna.
That's me. Kia ora, I'm Joanna Aljo, and I work at Hohepa Canterbury as the volunteer manager. Previously, I've worked in the refugee migrant sector and the ECE sector. Community and community development's always been something I've been really interested in. At the moment, I'm working in the volunteer management space. I've created a volunteer program at Hohepa, so more community engagement than community development. I'm quite keen to get out of my own little bubble that I'm currently at Hohepa, which is quite a lovely community, but it's quite insular. So I spotted this and thought I'd just check out what it's all about. Thanks. Ooh. Oh, and I'm going to pass over to Nebras.
Thank you, Joanna. Kia ora, everyone. My name is Nibras. I'm the Ethnic and Middle Eastern Connector in the Kepatiki Community Facility Trust, based in Kepatiki area, North Shore, Auckland. So I have been in this role almost now 5 years. So this year we are revealing for the new ethnic plan. So I'm here today to upskill my and make the dealing with the community more professional, learn more skills. That's why I'm here. Thank you so much. I will pass it to Komori. Thank you.
Yeah. Kia ora. I'm actually called Christine, not Samori. That's, I don't know, my computer made that acronym for me, but it's quite cool. Samori. But I'm just Christine. And I have our Thriving Communities team here. We've all chimed in. Hi, just a small, great bunch of people working in the Thriving Communities team for Rotorua Lakes Council. So we do a number of things across the community, working with the community, supporting them. And what's really important is all these great webinars that Inspiring Communities have. Thank you so much. It's really cool to connect into these and get some more professional development and some more insights into working with communities and collaboration. So this particular webinar is we're just listening. We want to really strengthen our reflective end part of our project work and our community-led work. So very excited. Thank you.
And Christine, who will you pass to?
I'm going to pass to...
You've got Kaya and
Kaya. Yep.
Kaya.
Ko Kaya Irvine Tukuingawa, and I work in the recovery office in Auckland Council. So working with and supporting the impacted communities across the Rodney district from the weather events of 2023. I'm interested, what's brought me to this micro-credential is that I'm wanting to learn off others and to share different facilitation, learning strengths, things that didn't go well and all that sort of stuff as well. And the networking will be great. And so I'll pass to Stace.
Kia ora koutou, ko Stace Tokuingawa. Like Mandy, I work for Te Raro One Aotearoa Foundation, and we're based in Waihopai and Invercargill. Like Mandy said, we are community catalysts, and our job is to influence the wider youth development ecosystem to lead to better outcomes for young people. Specifically for the this micro-credential is there's a particular kaupapa or piece of work that I'm working on that involves young people co-designing solutions to transport barriers with the wider community. I've got a youth development background and did a lot of facilitation, but it's the first time I've kind of had to draw wider groups and bring people together and ensure there's like, there's the power dynamics are okay, and there's mana enhancing practices amongst all of it. So it's, just an opportunity to strengthen the skills I have and apply it to different principles from youth development to my community development. Kia ora.
Can someone indicate if they haven't had a turn? Is that all of us then? Okay, we will carry on. I'm watching the time. I also suggest you watch in the chat because some people have had to leave to other hui, but they've put in who they are. So while we move back to the slides, what I'd like to say is that I really, really appreciate what you're talking about. To me, you seem like one by one, a cohort who are on track with what we can deliver and will support you with. So the things you're talking about are the things we actually do. This is what it is. This is how it works. You choose a case study yourself, something you're already doing as part of your work, not an extra thing. It's best if your case study is current, not retrospective. It can work retrospectively, and I've had submissions that are, but it's much better if it's current. There are 4 tasks. What happens is also you seek feedback from those involved, and you deeply reflect on your practice. There are 4 workshops to support you. This is not one of them. This is the info session. There are 4 workshops where I hear how much you might like to connect together as a cohort, and that's just fantastic because that's what we do in the workshops as well. You also get 2 one-to-one sessions, one early on to help you really sort out what is your case study, and one much later to help you work out the steps to completion. There are 2 tiers to the cost. If you work for local or central government, funders and private sector, it's $750 plus GST. If you work for a community organisation or volunteer group, it's $550 plus GST. Now remember, questions are going to go in the chat as we go through, so keep a note because now we're doing some really tangible facts and things might come up that I haven't covered. So how do you get started if you register? First of all, you have to register. So you register and pay. Now, after this session, you'll be sent an email with a link to register. While you're there, you book your first one-to-one. We're really keen to support you, not to let it drift off. So once you register, we want to nail that case study so that you feel happy and comfortable with that. And that's then your focus until the 19th of September, which is cut off for submissions. Then you just get on with it and you reflect often. You'll be sent exactly what the tasks are. And in the one-to-one, what we'll do is work through the tasks in relation to the case study you've chosen so that you feel comfortable. You can answer those questions because they meet what you're already doing in your case study. You choose your attesters. Now, this is something a bit new for some of you. There are 2 parts of this. There's what you write, but you must also choose 2 people who can attest to your work. One of those is a colleague, a peer or a colleague, and one is a participant in your facilitation. So you facilitate them. So when you choose your case study, you're thinking about who will I choose for these 2 people. They each have a form they fill in. It's part of what we'll send you out when the time comes. But be thinking about that. If you already know kind of sort of your case study, be thinking, okay, so who knows actually what I do? And this is part of widening the audience to your work and part of the validation. So this is one way that we get that for you is through your attestations. Some people make a plan, what, when, how they're going to do this. It's whatever you need. We're all adults. We all have our lives that are not our work. We all have commitments and things that come up. So you plan your time. But I happen to know through doing this for a few years now that you need to nail your case study really early on and be thinking about your attesters. You do some reading, and you start writing, taking careful note of the tasks which we will be sending you. Okay, next slide. Now we may go 5 minutes over, but I'm keeping it short now. So what we'd like you to do is put in the chat a question you have. Now, if you really don't have any, that's fine, but many of you will have. So a question you have about the micro-credential. Consider the content that I've just talked about, the requirements of participating. So some people ask how many hours per week, but some people do no hours for a month, and then they sit down in a weekend and they kind of knock off 2 tasks. It depends on you and your style and your life. The assessment and the qualification. So you know now already that it's not NZQA recognised, but it gives you a badge that gives you a qualification. So just quickly now, if you could put your question, if you have one, into the chat, and we will attend to those in the follow-up email. Okay, I'm going to crack on here because your time is precious and we can attend to those things. Your attesters fill in a form. It takes about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. They will know your work and it's not hard. It's a series of scales. Different people take a different amount of time. When you get the tasks, it gives you, in some cases, it will give you an exemplar of what people do. You'll get a link to that. And other than that, they're very, very specific. You'll see when you get them, and there's a word limit for each one. There isn't a follow-on qualification, and this course runs until the 19th of September. That is our cutoff for you to submit your work. You can submit it in August if you want to, but after the 19th, we can't accept it anymore in the learning engine. So please know that right from the beginning. Okay, let's move on, and I will attend to those in an email. Okay, so here's some more really, really tangible information. Have a think about who's going to support your micro-credential work. For those of you who already had a little team there, it's fantastic if each of you do this yourself with a different case study. We know it's very supportive, and those people always finish. So suggest to others, perhaps. Now, these are the dates of the workshops. So if you're thinking you will register, and I hope you are, and I can hear you're right on track for registering, these are dates that you need to know, and we will put them into the follow-up email. So there's not another one until a bit later on. So the one-to-ones, you can start putting those in when you register. They begin on the 19th of February. Those are the dates of the workshop. And as I said, completion is by the 19th of September. And the last thing is to know that you can do it. It's actually not difficult. You are very, very well supported to continue through and complete it by us and by your colleagues who are in the cohort. Okay, next slide. Okay, I don't need to read that to you, but we know that this is what it's about. It's about reflecting. It's about your self-awareness about your work and taking time to go, what do I actually think of what I did? Why do I think that? Who wasn't included? What else could I have done? So it's about nurturing your self-reflection and doing things differently. People have found that it also gives them language to talk to colleagues about what you do, because they're more about key competencies and things like that, especially in council. So it shows you a way and gives you some language that you can talk confidently about what you do and actually how wonderful some of the results are too. So that's the thing that comes from this. So the actual micro-credential looks for evidence of these things in your writing. Okay, and next one. We'd like to remind you about the CLD principles. So these need to show up and be evident in your writing. You'll probably be mostly familiar with it. We'll go through it in a workshop as well, like what it looks like in terms of your case study. But these are the things we want to see that you're doing in your work, and you can identify when you're doing them, and you're doing them on purpose. Okay. Okay, so this one is about how inspiring communities as an organization can help you. You're not here alone. You have your cohort, you have your staff to support you, the 3 people you've seen on screen, and also you have these other activities going on within inspiring communities. All of this can give you food for thought, can give you a foundation from which to think about your work, and we recommend, excuse me, that you engage in some of these things to allow you the space to step back to look at your work. So we'll send this out to you as well. These are important resources for you in terms of other thinking about your work. Next one. Okay, so we have a poll. I noticed there's still questions going in. That's fantastic. Don't hesitate to keep adding them. The poll is, I'll let Natalie walk you through it, but from here, what you do if you want to continue is you register. You also register for a one-to-ones to get you started off, and you put the dates in your diary. Okay, here is the poll popped up right now. Just another couple of people, that would be great. Okay, and we will thank you, Dominic. Kia ora, look forward to meeting you again later. Okay. I think that might be nearly the people participating here, Nat. Anybody else want to participate in the poll?
Just close the poll, actually.
Awesome. Okay. Very good. And our last slide, I think we're up to there. Excuse me. Okay, and we're going to close with karakia. Is there anyone who'd like to lead this for us? No? Okay. So kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te aio, te aroha, me te maru tau, tihei, mauri ora. Kia ora, everybody. We look forward to being in further contact and supporting you, and we thank you for your time today and look forward to seeing you again. Ka kite.